We is live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Chaos. My name is Brad. The stock market is crazy and chaotic, and I made it my mission to help you guys own it. It has been another wild day today. The market closed or opened up green today. Everything looked pretty darn good, especially with some of the airlines reporting and talking about record travel numbers. And they're almost back to the same type of capacity that they saw in 2019 pre-pandemic. And that's without restrictions being lifted in other areas of the globe, especially with some of the international airlines. I'm talking about United Airlines and American Airlines that reported last night, and this morning. We heard from Delta last week as well. So the consumer is super strong, right? Travel is absolutely wild. But the Fed ended up putting cold water over everything because of interest rates potentially going up. There's a lot of fear in the market about a 75-point interest rate hike in 2 weeks when we hear from the Fed in May. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the more likely scenario is going to be that 50-point rate hike. And I think today is just a bit of an overreaction. Staying put in everything that I'm in right now. And I'm going to continue to be super bullish on energy and travel stocks. But today is Thursday, guys, and you know what that means. Freddie's in the house. I'm going to bring him on in a second. Also, we have Snap earnings as well as Sam Adams and PPG. So if you guys want to see those earnings, make sure you're hitting that like and subscribe button. And before we get into anything else, of course, I have to hit up my starting five here. So let's go ahead and give it up for Jeff Panicka, Jonathan Schreiber, Tiger's Edge, Jim Bieri, and Mr. DeSoto. So really good stuff. Thanks for being the starting five. If you guys missed out on being the starting five, it could be because you missed out on hitting the notification bell. So if you're not subscribed and you didn't hit the notification bell, please do so. I certainly would appreciate the support. And on your way in the door, how about you hit that like as well? Just helps me push this content out even further. I'm starting to become the de facto place to come to for earnings reactions. So hopefully if you guys are coming across this channel and you love to see earnings reactions and you want to kind of get the latest information on earnings as they come out during earnings season, I'm your boy. So subscribe. Would love to have you guys as a part of the community. All right. Without further ado, ladies and gents, the man that I'm about to bring aboard is a slightly local comedian. I guess he's a traveling comedian. He's on tour. If you want to talk, he's on tour for the East Coast, right? He's in Raleigh, then he goes to New York, then he goes here and there and everywhere. But it is none other, ladies and gentlemen, than Freddie Valoy. Freddie, what's up, my man?
What's up, Brad? What is up, Chaos Crew? Jimmy Bieri made the top 5, and he is bringing all the smoke, man. He is causing a ruckus in the comments.
Always is.
Yeah, shitting on Tesla. Somebody get that guy a Quaalude. Jesus. Are we sure that's not a gas-guzzling vehicle making those comments in there? He is hating on Tesla way too hard, dude. I want to talk about weddings today real quick, guys. Chaos Crew, tell me what your favorite part about weddings is, because personally, I'm boycotting weddings these days. I'm going to be very choosy, right? Because weddings are where you find out which friends are important, right? When you get invited to a wedding, some of them you want to be in the wedding party. You'll travel anywhere around the world to watch people consummate their love. Then there's other weddings you get invited to, and you might even be surprised as to how you're being invited. But then when you do the math, hotel, flight, time off work, it's a $2,500 expense, and this is when you realize, like, wow, this friend is not a $2,500 friend whatsoever, right? Most people go to the wedding because they don't want to be rude, right? You can't say I have something to do in 18 months. There's just no way you could lie your way out of it. People don't want to be rude. So now you're going to the wedding with resentment, which is not really what you want to do. Now you're judging the entire wedding as if you're on some Bravo TV show where you're judging the decor, the food. You might catch COVID, have some rubbery chicken, and some awkward table conversation. Who knows? But my favorite part about weddings, and this is by far the best part of weddings, is watching women talk shit about their friends and about the wedding itself. You see it all the time, Oh my God, she went with a backless dress. It's a little tacky. That's not what I would do, but it's one of my favorite things. This is a new bit I'm working on. So that's where I'm going to end it there. Chaos Crew, Jimmy, meditate, buddy. Brad, back to you.
Yeah. Jimmy's been Jimmy shorted, apparently. He bought puts, which is essentially shorting Tesla yesterday, and then Tesla went absolutely apeshit today, up as much as 10%. It's settling back down today because it's getting carried down with the rest of the market. But bro, Tesla, just to give you a backstory, Tesla had earnings yesterday. We reacted to them, and they absolutely crushed it. Like
Really
across
nice.
the board. There's been um, this constant, I guess narrative that a lot of the other automakers are struggling with supply chains. You see the headlines, right? Like
Yep.
everybody's struggling trying to find a material and that sort of thing. And Tesla's like, yeah, hold my beer. And they literally crushed it. So last year they were expecting a growth on production 50% year over year. That was going to be their sales growth. And then yesterday they came out and said, guess what? It's going to be 60 now this year. We're going to deliver 1.5 million vehicles ahead of what our original expectations were. And that's with chip shortage issues. That's with supply chain problems and all of that, which is super impressive within in and of itself. And then Elon comes out in the conference call yesterday and says, hey, guess what? We're also making robots, and this is going to be a bigger business than our EVs.
What kind of robots?
They're like, what does he call them? Optimus robots. They're robots that you can have do whatever it is that you need to be done. He was on a TED Talk interview last week, and it was an hour of time where the interview was. And so it's a little bit of an investment, but it's 100% worth listening to this guy talk about everything that he has planned. I think that it's crazy to see that with what he's got planned. So the robots themselves are designed to do anything. I think that's going to be interesting. He said that the cost to make them is going to be less. They're going to be expensive in the beginning, but then also be more affordable over time, and the ability to get them to do whatever you need them to do. And that's to anything from, let's just say your folks are at home and they're by themselves, but they have this robot now that can like help them do whatever they need to do, or there's an emergency and that robot can contact, 911, whatever,
Yeah.
so many other things that it can do. And he's projecting that this is going to be a much better business or more profitable business than even the EVs are.
I caught bits and pieces of the interview, and I will say the overarching theme for me was like he makes you optimistic about the future, which I feel like today that's a very tough thing to do.
Yeah. It was just absolutely wild. And to kind of talk about that a little bit more in depth, the other part for me was the Neuralink conversation that he was having. I just that was something that I thought was crazy, just because of, I don't know, the way that they're designing this chip that can live inside of your brain to be able to help people that have had spinal injuries to maybe walk again or whatever. Maybe they had speech problems and due to some sort of brain injury, and this Neuralink's going to be able to help them. It was just absolutely wild, bro.
When's that supposed to be coming out?
So the Neuralink, I believe, if memory serves me right, he was looking to have that implemented by 2025 for Neuralink.
Oh, damn, that's right around the corner. Holy snap.
Yeah. For like on humans and everything.
I wonder, would you get a Neuralink in Chaos Crew? Who would or would not get a Neuralink in there?
That would be I would love to hear from people about that.
Yeah.
Would I do it? I don't know, man. I think it would have to be under the right circumstance. Like, do I really want access to Google in my brain, like on the fly like that? Or he said also the ability with Neuralink was that you could eventually communicate with each other telepathically.
Oh God!
Like if I had a Neuralink and you had a Neuralink, like we could talk to each other.
Oh my! Imagine like some weird thing like the lines getting crossed, and then you find out something you didn't want to find out about your friend or your coworker. Like,
yes, yeah, absolutely. Or like you're walking down the street and there's some hot chick or whatever, or a hot dude. It's 2022. But like, and you start having thoughts, it always happens. They creep in. It doesn't matter. And you don't want people knowing about that, right?
I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe what if the girl's having the same thoughts and all of a sudden you guys met via Neuralink,
Or you just get rejected even faster, right? Like you're checking out some chick and you look at her and there's something that gets communicated telepathically and she's like, nah, bro. And you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah, there definitely has to be like a different Neuralink for like, hot women that get hit on all the time, where they just have kind of like a block on there, like a firewall.
A whole new level of catcalling.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike Hudson says he's in. Okay, we got to take.
Oh, I like that.
I appreciate that being the contrarian, because most of the people are saying this is a hard no. Strimblin says never ever. Boogler Brown says that's a hard no for me on the Neuralink.
Mike Hudson's from Chicago, right? Or
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
See, Chicago people are built different. I respect that. Good job, Mike.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just wild. And there was, and we'll get into the earnings and stuff like this in a second, folks, but I just thought that it was so amazing with some of the things that's coming down the pipeline. And I always give Elon a hard time as well with this, but sometimes his timelines are a little bit crazy. He gets overly ambitious, and he even talked about that. He admits it. Like, he knows that he doesn't always get it right all the time as far as the timeline's concerned. But the one thing that you can't take away from this guy is that, like, he sets his mind to doing something, he just fucking does it. I mean, he's built multiple billion-dollar companies in the last 15 years, going all the way back down to PayPal, right? Like, who's done that? Nobody's made that many billion-dollar companies in that period of time. It's just unbelievable what this guy can do.
Did he come from money, or was he like self-made? Really?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It was him and his brother, self-made. They started, I believe they both started with PayPal and then went on to other things. But like, no. So it wasn't like he was just born into money at all.
Yeah, well, even if he was born in the money and he's doing what he's doing, I still respect it, honestly. Like that's still, because there's a lot of people I know with money that just do cocaine. So this is they're in and out of rehab, they have no purpose. And this guy's, so even if you come from money and you do the right thing, good for you.
Yeah.
Even more power to you, because you don't really know unless you're in that situation.
Right. Yeah. Well, and he also spoke to that too, because he can fall on either line of the political spectrum, and he said that he gets scrutiny from both sides, because he's got one side, that gives him a bunch of shit because he's this rich dude, he's the richest man in the world. And some people think that nobody should be worth $250 billion. And then, and by the same time, it's the same folks that like are cool with what he's doing as far as helping the environment, making the world a better place. And so the way that he views it is like, I do make a lot of money, and I am worth a lot, but the dude doesn't own a home. He doesn't own a house. He nomads around for whenever whatever location he's got to work. He doesn't have a yacht. He rarely goes on vacations, and all the money he does have, he puts back into making the world a better place. And he said that was like his way of showing philanthropy, in that he's making, things better for the environment, looking into Mars to try to find, to create colonies there, just in case something happens on Earth that can't be reversed or whatever. Like, this dude's like doing all kinds of stuff to make the world a better place. And I think people should just let him do it.
I'm confused at the hard time that the left gives him, because he is doing this thing to like clean up the environment and all this stuff. Yet they really, really are probably the most judgmental. If you look at, on the political side, they're the most judgmental about him. But it's like, he's doing what you guys are like posting about on Instagram. He's actually doing what nobody else is. Like,
right.
I don't know. I don't like strip clubs, but I would be excited to see the first strip club on Mars. See what that's going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's floating strippers. I mean, that would be
dude, just like, that actually might be quite beautiful. It might add some elegance to the strip club scene.
It might be. That would be interesting.
Unless a stripper has like saggy tits, then that's gonna look weird. They're just gonna be flopping, slowly floating around,
smacking her own self in the face with them.
Yeah.
All right. So, on to earnings. So we have Snap earnings today, and this is interesting. Snapchat used to be the number one app among young adults between the ages of 18 and 24. And this has been an interesting dynamic, because now TikTok is.
Yeah.
And so with their earnings this coming quarter, I'll be interested to see how they react to this and what they're going to say in this report. Their expected earnings per share is 1 cent, so just barely break even per share. Revenue is estimated to be around $107 billion. And the real metric here for companies like Snap and social media in general is their daily active users or monthly active users, and how much they're making per user is also an important metric that most investors look at. And so I'm going to be interested to see how this shakes out. I mean, I think that it's possible that they come in and meet those earnings numbers, but I think there's also a real danger here for Snap because of TikTok like taking over the globe. It's essentially, and young people anyway. I believe it's the statistic is somewhere around 90% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 24 use a TikTok actively, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's crazy adoption.
Yeah, and,
Wow.
and very fast. So, the question then gets asked, well, are advertisers leaving platforms like Snap to go hop on the TikTok because it's the next latest and greatest thing? And I think that that's going to be a real, interesting spot for Snap. So Snap right now is the market's officially closed. Snap right now is not doing much here into the close just yet, but we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Then there's also, we have Snap PPG is the other one. And then we have Sam, the Boston Beer Company, also reporting. Boston Beer Company has really been in the doghouse. Let's take a look at Sam real quick as we're waiting on Snap's earnings. That is SAM. Take a look at the daily chart. This has been absolutely awful. It's trading at $346. Look at this. It's actually off the chart. So this was as high as $13.49 and really not that long ago. A year ago, it was at $13.49 all-time highs, and now trading at $3.46.
Wow.
Yeah. Growth has slowed significantly for Sam. And so I don't know.
What happened to them over the past year that made that happen?
You know what it was? So it actually like skyrocketed because of COVID, because everybody was at home and everybody was just drinking at home. But seltzers were the real big mover for Sam. And then the competition really kind of came in and crushed them.
Damn.
So their expected earnings are $1.97. The revenue here is at $444 million. So we'll see what happens with them as well. Then you have PPG. Their expected earnings per share is $1.11, and then $4.24 billion is the expected revenue for them too. So let's check back in with Snap. See where that's going. Do you use Snap?
No, I got off of Snap years ago.
Yeah, I don't really use it all that much either.
Yeah, I feel like it's big, like sex workers, I think, are on Snapchat.
I think they used to be. But you know what? I get the most activity I get on Snap is like from like spammers like that.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Those bots are always sad. It's always like a hot girl, and they're like, "Hey, daddy," and you're like, "Man, I kind of wish this was real." like there's a part of my brain that's like, "This is still kind of cool."
That's hilarious. Okay, let's see here. So Snap looks like there's some activity going on as if those earnings are out. So as soon as I have those numbers, I will get them for you. Right now it's trading up to 250%, 2.5%. Lots of people on Twitter right now. Looks like there's a lot of long people on Twitter, meaning they're expecting it to go up, but don't have any earnings on those just yet. As soon as those earnings numbers come out, I'll have them for you.
Is anybody in the Chaos crew on Snap? Like, how's it going over there? What are the new features? What's keeping you on there? Like, that's because I feel like once Instagram adopts it, people like adopts the whatever feature, people just kind of go back to Instagram.
Yeah, that definitely like I'm not a big Instagram user. Honestly, like my platform of choice is Twitter.
I feel like that's definitely one of the big ones, right? Which one is bigger investment wise?
Like as far as the value of the company?
Yeah.
Facebook, hands down.
Okay.
Yeah, Facebook for sure. Facebook is still massive, billion plus users. Actually, Twitter's the smallest social media company.
Oh, damn, that's surprising.
Yeah, I believe 300 million users on Twitter. That's it.
Who is Arnold? Darren? They ask if we know who Arnold is.
I have no idea.
I know Arnold Schwarzenegger, one of the greatest men to ever walk the face of this planet.
Next to Chuck Norris.
Oh, nice. Zero Blue Ox says, I rarely text. Snapchat and Messenger is basically how I communicate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. All the kids at Aiden Koch says, all the kids at work use it all the time. They use it to send text and group chat. Okay.
All right. I got some feedback on your side, I think. I can hear myself.
I wonder what that's from.
So yeah, guys, I'm looking for those earnings numbers right now. I can't hear anything now. I think you're good.
Okay.
It might have been like a connection or something. Looking for Snap to report earnings, and we do not have those numbers just yet. But it looks as if the stock is kind of acting as if it is. It shot all the way up to 3% right as the market closed, then went red very briefly. It's now back to green, up around 1%. This has been another one that's like actually gotten beaten up pretty good, Freddie. So I remember calling this one out as a buy down at $20, like right as the pandemic happened. And then it went wild for the next 18 months, all the way up to $83. For it to be trading at $30 right now is just pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, that's nuts.
A lot of this stuff has just gotten beaten up so bad that it's just begging to be bought up. Still waiting on the Snap earnings. If you guys are just tuning in, we got about 240 of you guys hanging out. I certainly appreciate you chilling. And if you guys, like I had mentioned earlier, if you are new to the channel, first of all, hopefully I earn a subscription from you. Second of all, if you are interested in not just Snap's earnings, but all earnings, I react to all of them. And so every day, whenever earnings season is about, I always give my reactions, and you get the latest update on those earnings as they come out. So you guys are looking for the latest breaking news on earnings and get my full reaction to them, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, because I go live at 3:45 every day during the week. Snap's expected earnings. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Jay Santos says, I bought 1,000 shares of Snap at $29. Wish me luck. We wish you luck, Jay Santos.
So far, so good. Stock's sitting up 3% right now. Still waiting on those earnings. The expected earnings per share is at a penny, and then average estimate for revenue is 1.07 billion. Stock is now moving up here, though. Yeah, so it looks as if perhaps the numbers are expected to come out at 4:10 p.m. Eastern time, and it looks as if maybe there's just all this movement here is just kind of like anticipatory. Usually don't get that too much.
Okay. So if you had to guess, would you say it's looking good
I would
for
say
Jay Santos?
it could be, but I think some people are just trying to get in before the earnings come out for the just in case. Like it's kind of like almost like a mad dash to let's make sure we're in just in case this goes off. There's a little bit of a FOMO effect in there. Nothing from PPG. Boston Beer Company doesn't look like they have anything yet either. So we're just really waiting on Snap.
Devin Mausia just gave Qualtrics earnings, I believe. If you want to pull that up, Brad.
Oh yeah, XM. Okay, we can take a look at that.
Yeah.
Qualtrics. Oh yeah, that stock's up 4.5%. I appreciate that, Devin. So Devin said they just reported earnings posting numbers of 1 cent per share, beating expectations of a loss of 1 cent, and they came out $335 million, beating expectations of 325. That is a pretty solid beat.
Nice.
That's a pretty solid beat, and stock's up 4% as a result. There are a couple of other stocks, guys. If there's ones that I'm not covering, certainly bring them to the table. I try to cover the ones that I think that you're most likely interested in. But if there's something that you guys really want to see, please be sure to put it in the chat. I'd love to take a look at it.
Mike Hudson says Chuck Norris killed Arnold with a roundhouse kick and then brought him back to life with his magic breath. I mean, that's Chuck Norris is that dude. Somebody else threw Bruce Lee in there. We got Chuck, Bruce, and Arnold. I mean, that's
bro. Back in the day when like martial arts was like, when I was a kid, everybody was trying to like kung fu somebody.
Yes. Yeah, before the UFC demystified the whole kung fu and all that. Like those are the good old days. So, ignorance really is bliss. Like
yeah. All right, Snap is getting absolutely murdered right now.
Oh no. Oh,
Oh no, Jay Santos.
so sorry, Jay Santos.
All right, so stock is now down 15% after hours. This is kind of what I was worried about. I'm not saying anything on numbers just yet, but if you guys recall at the top of the show, my big concern, or at least going into earnings, my big concern here was, the competition that they're experiencing from TikTok. It looks as if perhaps it could be because it could be affecting them now. Stock's now down 18%. Jesus, what a dump.
Yeah. Damn, that sucks.
Um,
Dynasty's asking about Netflix. Netflix 210 question mark.
Yeah, we can talk about Netflix after this because I do have some sentiment on that as well. Definitely want to get Freddie's thoughts on it too, just as a Netflix consumer as well. So we'll have that discussion here in a minute. But right now, I'm looking at Snap's earnings. I do have the daily active users. If you guys remember, as I was talking about the expectations here, Snap was expected to come in at 330.5 million daily active users. It's at 332 million was the actual. So they actually came in above that number, which is good. But something missed here big time. I'm still waiting for those numbers to officially come out here. They reported a loss of 2 cents per share. So that's the big issue here. They were expected to come in positive 1 cent. They came in at a loss of 2 cents. So that's the initial reaction there. And it looks as if many investors were expecting a pretty solid beat of around 4 cents per share compared to that 1 cent. So for them to come in negative, that's a pretty big deal.
Bodie Beard has a great joke. He says, "Oh snap!"
Oh my God.
I love that. I love it.
Revenue came in for Snap at 1.063 billion. They missed that expectation of 1.07. So they missed it by $7 million. So let's just call that in line, even though they did technically miss. So a miss on both earnings per share and revenue, technically. So that's why the stock is reacting here. The daily active users increased 18%, as I'd mentioned, to 332 million. Revenue increased 38% despite missing expectations. And operating cash flow was around 127 million, and free cash flow was 106 million. So it's not all bad, even though it came in below expectations. And it looks as if it's starting to react accordingly. The stock, as you recall, was down immediately around 18%. And within this 5-minute candle, it's now back only down around 8%. Still not great, but it literally just cut those losses in half within a matter of minutes. And it's looking like it's still getting bought up here. Look at this. Are you seeing this right now? I mean, that is wild.
Yeah.
Came all the way down to 22.70 and now is back up to $28 and climbing. Yeah, let's see how some of the other social media platforms are reacting. So one thing I didn't mention to you guys is that Snap's earnings are usually, look at this, Snap's going green. Snap's earnings are usually impacting some of the other social media platforms too, depending on what happens. So let's take a look at Twitter, see how that's reacting. Twitter's up 1.5% as a result. Facebook is up. Oh, no, sorry. It's down just slightly. We'll just call it break even. And then we can look at Pinterest. That's up slightly as well. So the one that's reacting the most, it seems to be, is Twitter right now. I can't believe Pinterest is also at $20. This is just wild. Pinterest was at $80 as well.
Oh, damn.
$89.90. Yeah. So it's down, 75%?
Do you have a Pinterest board?
I do not.
Okay.
I tried to dabble in it just to kind of get my name out there for like branding and stuff like that, but I don't know. I feel like it's more for chicks.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna do all their wedding stuff, their baby shower stuff on Pinterest. Yeah.
Yeah, their fantasies. They get that.
Yes. All right. So if you guys are just tuning in, so Snap missed earnings pretty badly. So they came in at a loss of 2 cents per share. The expectation was 1 cent. And they also missed on revenue, technically, by around $7 million. It wasn't like it was a giant miss on revenue, but it was a miss nevertheless. And so the question, I guess, then becomes, did TikTok really kind of take over the throne among young people? And we've talked about, the active users being greater now than Snap users between the ages of 18 and 24. And maybe this is impacting Snap. This could be, is this a sign of things to come? I think obviously that remains to be seen, but very interesting here to kind of see the developments on Snap and those earnings. I was kind of expecting revenue to be higher than expectations, and wasn't going to be too surprised if earnings came in lower. But the fact that both of them are, it's pretty interesting to see.
Why were you expecting higher revenue for them?
Just because of demand, from some of the other earnings that we've seen, consumer demand has been really high. So typically, when you see consumer demand that high, it usually means that ad spending is also high. And so if more advertisers are willing to spend money with your platform, that means more revenue, obviously. But with higher costs of inflation and what have you, like, it wouldn't have surprised me to see the earnings from that revenue be lower because of extra costs for overhead and all that. But for them to miss on both, I think is a little bit surprising to me.
Okay. All right.
We've kind of seen a theme as far as that's concerned. Like, demand is still really high, and so people are out there still spending money. But because everything costs more, not every company is able to pass those costs onto the consumer. So then it affects their bottom line. So yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, we got how many we have in the house? 315. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Don Fran's in the house. What's up, Don?
Yeah, hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button.
Yeah. We got other earnings as well. If you guys are just tuning in, Sam Adams also reported earnings, and they are down 10%. Let me see if I can find those numbers for you real quick. As we just got over talking about Snap, but it looks as if Sam is still just cannot get over the hump here. The sales came in below expectations yet again. $430 million was the actual. The expectation was $446 million. People just aren't out there drinking beer anymore, I guess.
No. Yeah, I think you're right. The seltzers took over. The gayness of the seltzer was outweighed by like the potential to have abs.
Yes, that is very true. They came in. Still sees. Okay, hold on. What's the actual earnings per share here? Hold on. They are still projecting guidance to come in line with what expectations were. But I don't have the actual earnings for this past quarter yet. Let me see if we can find them. I can't believe the stock was at $1,300, and now we're looking at it at $310.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do they have a seltzer coming down the line?
They do have a seltzer. What's their seltzer that they have? That's what caused Sam to move like it did over the summer. They have Truly is owned by Boston Beer Company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have Truly, they have Angry Orchard, Dogfish, and Twisted Tea.
Oh, they got some good ones there.
Yeah, they got some big brands under them, but I guess the competition, when you look at White Claw and a lot of the other ones, I mean, literally every beer company now has a seltzer. Budweiser, Coors, like they all do. So I think that that's a big hit to them. A quote from the CEO says, "While we met our internal targets for depletions, shipments, and financials, our first quarter performance suffers by comparison to our exceptional performance in the first quarter of 2021. Says we fully expect depletion of Man, he's not sugarcoating this. We fully expect depletion and shipment volumes to improve both in absolute terms and against less difficult prior year volume comparisons. We also expect margins to increase from the lower to first quarter levels as our supply chain performance slowly improves during the remainder of the year." So while this quarter wasn't great, it looks like they're expecting better growth probably in the second half of the year.
Jonathan Schreiber says Mountain Dew seltzer. They have a seltzer too. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I think they were working with Sam with the Boston Beer Company on that, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe was it them? I can't remember now.
Sounds like a dangerous seltzer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sounds like you'll be paying child support after a hard night of drinking those.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, high noons. High noons are big. Yeah, Zero Blue Ox. Even Barstool have been promoting the crap out of high noons. Given the money that high noon pays Barstool, I would be promoting the shit out of that as well. A little bit of a recovery here on Sam too. So kind of a similar move that Snap had. So it sold off all the way down to 310. So it was down around 10%. Stock's now only down around 3%. So we'll see if it comes back. Checking back in with Snap. They actually came in and missed earnings per share. They also missed on revenue slightly. Monthly active users actually increased, though, quite a bit, just not to the expectations of what analysts were expecting. So that's why it sold off. The immediate sell off was an 18% drop, which, if you're a huge investor in Snap, probably puckered up your butthole big time. However, it is coming back now. It's only down around 2% after being down 18% right out the gate.
Damn.
What a wild ride for Snap right now.
Chili asks, what are your thoughts on Plug? I feel like it's way too overpriced.
Plug Power, they just announced a partnership with somebody, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. Let's see if I can find the news out on that. Oh yeah, hydrogen fuel deal with Walmart a couple of days ago was Plug Power. So, and they're still reporting a loss, right? They're at a market cap of around 13 billion. I would say that they are a little bit overpriced, but given how much this is coming down, I mean, this was trading all the way up $75. It's now $23. I mean, I think that the recent moves probably were a bit overdone, and this correction makes a lot of sense. Was this? I don't know why it was down 14% today, but I think that this ends up becoming a buy again if it comes back to retest down that $19-20 range. Okay. Let me look at PPG, see if those earnings are out.
Jimmy Bieri says everything is overpriced.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Netflix certainly isn't overpriced now. PPG came in $1.37 and $4.31 billion in revenue. Let's see here. Look at the stock here. Looks like they beat those earnings. Pretty decent move so far. Really no volume on that, but those are the numbers there for PPG. If anybody was interested in that. So this was actually a really good one during the pandemic, especially as things reopened and it just kind of settled back down. One of the big reasons is because of it being kind of like paint and coating materials and stuff like that. So the demand was really high and it settled down a little bit now. Looking at this trading at 18 times next year's earnings. So it's still kind of expensive in this space, but nevertheless, it beat earnings. They're pretty good.
William Fung asks, any hope for Disney going into earnings, brothers?
It's a great question. It's also been pretty tough. So because of what Netflix reported on Tuesday, a lot of the other streaming services have gotten absolutely hammered. I don't know how much you followed on this, Freddie, but Netflix came in and reported negative subscribers for the first quarter, and they were projecting another 2 million in loss and losing subscribers. So the first time this happened in a decade.
Is that because they're cracking down on the password sharing and all that?
No. So I think it has a lot to do with just the competition. With HBO and Apple TV and Disney Plus and so many others, Hulu, you name it, right? There's the space is so crowded, and now Netflix doesn't necessarily have the pricing power that they once did. You know, what if you're a new Netflix user, you are paying $20 to, use the service. So I think to me, and yes, this is another good point, Sam. Appreciate you bringing this up. Sam also says they pulled out of Russia, which I think accounted for around 1 million. I think it was around 1 million subscribers, somewhere around there.
Oh, wow.
But their projection was still to lose subscribers, regardless of what was going on in Russia. So, the competition is really kind of the big story. It's not necessarily Russia. And so for them, they're starting to potentially have the conversation of putting advertising in their platform, so you can pay to have to not have ads, or you deal with the ads. So there's going to be two tiers, I think, is what they're throwing around, and I think that that's something that could get Netflix back into shape here. I also think that with the sharing of the passwords thing, it is significant. Netflix is projecting somewhere around 100 million people borrow somebody else's password.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, 100 million.
Damn. So if Netflix went to ads, would they make the ad version free since advertisers are paying them, and then if you don't want ads, free, or just
Yeah,
a lower cost point?
I don't think any of it's going to be free. I still think you're going
Okay.
to have to pay something, but if there's going to be a cheaper version which will have ads, and then there's going to be a more expensive version that won't.
I'm cool with them doing that. I don't mind ads.
I don't mind that either. Like, and it's gonna be good for Netflix. I think they should do it.
Yeah.
Snap is now turning green. The stock is up now 6.5%. Just checking back in here. It looks like it shot up as much as 8%, up over $33. I hope Jay didn't sell his stock.
Jay Santos, check in with us, man.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Rhode Island with the donation. Appreciate it. Says if Snap missed, why would it rally back like this? I will answer that question. Willis, African Emporium. Appreciate you, bro. He says, let's go Snap 32 calls and 35s. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Nice.
I think what could be happening here, and let's go ahead and I'm going to check with Twitter just to see if there's anything developing here. But, one thing we always talk about is that just because stocks miss earnings doesn't necessarily mean the stock has to go down. And same thing for, for them to go up. And in this case, it seems to be that that's potentially what's happening. I think that could have a lot to do with the daily active users, the increase there, which is higher than what the expectation was. So when you see growth in daily active users like that, that means that there's still more potential for them to make money. So this is a pretty wild move. I mean, it was down 18% and is now up 6%.
Damn. Oh, Jay Santos feeling strong.
There you go, Jay.
Good job, Jay.
Who else?
Let's throw some emojis in the chat for Jay.
Yeah.
What else?
Who else is in Snap today? Who went long on Snap?
We had a few people in there mention it earlier. Saw that. Chili wants to know thoughts on Roku.
I'm not touching Roku I wouldn't touch that at all.
Why?
That's in worse shape than Netflix is.
Okay.
And they really struggle to make money. I think it's going to be really tough for them, at least in this environment. I think maybe long term they'll be okay, but in the short term, especially with what Netflix is going through and some of the other ones might be facing challenges with, I just don't know if Roku is going to be able to make it at least this year. I think I'd probably stay away from Roku for a while.
Okay.
All right. So Snap's still up here, guys. It's up over 5%. If you guys are just tuning in, first of all, make sure you hit that like button. We got about 81 likes and 334 of you guys in the house. So I feel like we can do way better than 81 likes. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up, I certainly would appreciate it. Just helps show support for the channel. Also, I react to earnings like this every single afternoon. So if you guys want to see more earnings reactions like today with Snap, make sure you're subscribing, hit that notification bell. I go live at 3:45 before the market closes and give you kind of like an idea of where I think the earnings are going to go. And then we react to those as they come in. So Snap came in and missed earnings. They came in at a loss of 2 cents per share. And they came in and missed on earnings or missed on revenue as well by around $8 million. So not really a big miss at all. But the big story I think that could be prompting some of the buying is those daily active users numbers that came up 18% year over year. So that's pretty good. 332 million daily active users for Snap. And I think that's kind of could be why we're seeing the positive movement here. The initial reaction was because of the loss and the miss on earnings. But I think the reason this is moving back up could be because of those daily active users. And
What's up, housekeeping? Good to see you. Hell yeah.
it is an interesting metric, Freddie, because it's almost like earnings don't matter. They just want to see how many people are using it. And I mean, that's kind of with Netflix too. Netflix actually came in and beat earnings on Tuesday, but because they reported a loss of subscribers, that's what crushed the stock.
Okay.
So it's an interesting move, with companies like this. It's like, yeah, we know that you're making money, but we just want to see the people there. Are there butts in the seats or not? Is basically what it comes down to.
Jay Santos asking, what do you guys think? Take the 2K profit. Oh, snap. Hold on. Where am I going here?
I got it.
Oh, there you go.
Take the 2K profit and sell, or hold off until tomorrow for a longer time. Listen, man, nobody ever got hurt taking profits. That's all I'll tell you.
Ooh, there you go. And a lot of the chaos crew are telling you to sell. So
Yes. Yes, for sure, Don. Don says brought up a good point. Users are engaged to the future. That's right.
Claudia says sell. What's up, Claudia?
All right.
Jimmy Bieri says you don't go broke taking profit. Hell yeah.
Something we both can agree on. Twitter's still up in response to Snap. That'd be interesting. Facebook is down. Meta platforms. Oh no, I'm sorry, it moved up. That's up now 2%. Let's take a look at see what Pinterest is doing. That's also turned green. This is interesting, guys. Very interesting development. I mean, that was just absolutely wild to see. We have, and actually, getting back to the Netflix conversation, Freddie, I actually wanted to hear from you. Is Netflix your go-to streaming service still?
It depends on. Oh yeah, because I watch anime and reality TV, and they have they could definitely pick up a lot more anime, but their reality TV seems to be pretty good. Especially there's a show called The Ultimatum that just came out. That's messy as hell, so it means it's good. Yeah, I would say that one and Hulu, and then I do another one that nobody knows about to watch. It's just an all anime platform, but yeah, I feel like Netflix is, and they're picking up, like, they have Netflix original anime stuff and things that they produce. So,
okay, I didn't even think about that angle, but yeah, I think that's the case for me as well, and I think that's why, like, I can still look at Netflix as a potential buy. Reed Hastings is an unbelievable CEO, and you look at the stock, and this just goes for the people that were asking about it. I think that Netflix will come back from this. It might take some time. I've actually been looking at this to buy up at these levels. This was trading at $700 in November. Like, that's not a long time ago.
Yeah.
$700 in November, and everybody thought that Netflix was crazy when they abandoned the DVD service and went into streaming. Everybody thought they were crazy for so many other reasons, and they've been able to pivot and show proof in the pudding. And I think that Netflix deserves the benefit of the doubt, especially with Reed Hastings being the CEO. And there is some of the dynamic here because there is a co-CEO situation here with Netflix, but they've been able to do the right thing and whenever they've seen diversity or adversity. Sorry, and so I think that Netflix will become a buy at some point. The valuation here has come down significantly. It's now below 20 times next year's earnings. This is a company that brings in $20 billion a year in revenue. So, guys, I don't think that Netflix is going anywhere anytime soon. Obviously, competition has really kind of caught up to them, and that's going to be a challenge, but I don't think that they just go away. And I think that they'll learn to pivot from this. I think them figuring out the login sharing issue, but then also adding advertising to this, I think makes this a solid buy, especially if you're in it for the long term. If you're trying to make a quick flip on Netflix, may not be the stock for you, but if you're looking to hold this for a year longer, I'm all about it.
Sam D is asking, Jay Santos, did you sell yet?
Yeah, let's hear from you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I think that's going to do it for me. If you guys if you're just tuning in, Snapchat actually ended up missing earnings. They missed on earnings per share. They missed revenue, but it looks like the market's actually responding pretty positively to Snap's earnings. as it relates to their daily active users, as many investors kind of really look to. So the stock was down as much as 18%. It's now at 6% into positive. So what is that? 36% move in the matter of 10 minutes that this stock has had. So absolutely wild to see Snap doing this. We'll talk about it more on Sunday. If you guys are looking to tune in for Stock Watch Sunday, that'll take place at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And we'll do it all again next week. So, Freddie, I appreciate your time, bro. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always fun to be with the Chaos Crew. Find me on Instagram at Freddie Valois. You see the name right there. I post questions. I do fun little tournaments. The next tournament is going to be Best Snack, so come check it out. We have a good time.
Thanks so much, guys. I didn't want to forget someone here. William S. talked about Hood, donated, so I wanted to make sure I shouted him out. Thanks for the donation, man. Thoughts on Robinhood for next week? I'm not going to be optimistic on Robinhood. However, the stock is so cheap that maybe the risk reward could be worth it, but you're not going to see me buying it. Other than that, guys, thanks so much. I'll give you my thoughts on more on next week's earnings starting on Sunday, and I'll see you then.
Bye.